You think they're your ride or die, but behind every smile they give you, there's a knife just waiting for your back. 7 signs. You're hanging out with the wrong people without even realizing it. The last thing is the most important thing, but must be really careful. There was a time I thought loyalty meant never questioning the people around me, that standing by someone meant ignoring the gut feeling clawing at my chest every time they spoke, until I lost myself in a room full of so-called friends and realized I was the only one clapping when I finally won. This episode is for the fighters, the dreamers, the ones who give more than they get, hoping that love will make people change. But sometimes, it's not love you're giving. It's your soul, piece by piece. Let's talk about it. The 7 signs you're hanging out with the wrong people, and you don't even know it. Sign number 1, they downplay your wins. You got the job, you're smiling, they look uncomfortable. I remember when I landed my first internship. It wasn't a 6-figure salary, but for me, a kid from a trailer park, it was everything. I called my best friend, told him the news expecting fireworks. He paused, then said, "That's cool, but it's not like you're making real money yet." That sentence hit harder than all the rejections I got before it. I tried to pretend it didn't matter. I told myself maybe he was just having a bad day. But when the pattern repeated, when every win I shared got brushed off, minimized, or spun back to his own life, it hurt. Even when I got my first apartment, he said, "It's kind of small though, right?" I started shrinking my wins. I stopped sharing my good news. I wanted to protect our friendship by burying my light. If someone's reaction to your success makes you question your worth, that's not a friend. That's a weight. Let them go. Sign number 2. They only come around when they need something. The phone rings. You already know they need a favor, not your story, not your truth, just your time. There was a guy in my life. Let's call him Marcus. Cool, charismatic. But every call came with an agenda. A ride, a loan, a connection. He never asked how I was doing, never showed up unless there was something in it for him. At first, I thought I was just being helpful, until I found myself drained, broke, and alone on my birthday, while he was at a party I wasn't even invited to. What stung the most wasn't that he didn't show up for me. It was that I kept showing up for him, over and over. I confused usefulness with connection. If you're only seen as a resource, never as a person, ask yourself this: are you a friend? Or are you just convenient? Sign number 3, they mock your growth. You stop drinking, start healing, and suddenly you're too good for the crew. When I started therapy, I didn't tell anyone. I thought healing was personal. But one night at a dinner, I mentioned something my therapist said. The room went quiet. Then someone joked, "Look at Dr. Phil over here." Laughter. And I laughed too. But inside, something shattered. I started hiding my progress, dimming my curiosity, slipping back into habits I had outgrown, just to stay relatable. A reflection. What we don't realize is that healing triggers the unhealed. Growth exposes stagnation, and people who aren't ready to grow will mock yours. True friends cheer your growth. They don't laugh at your healing. Anyone threatened by your evolution was never on your level to begin with. Sign number 4. Your energy feels off after seeing them. You walk in feeling okay. You leave feeling smaller. It's like clockwork. Every time I left Maya's apartment, I felt like I had to rebuild myself from scratch. Subtle jabs, passive-aggressive digs, conversations that left me questioning if I was too sensitive or just slowly going numb. Energy doesn't lie. If you constantly feel worse after spending time with someone, that's not friendship. That's erosion. You can fake smiles, but you can't fake energy. When you're always tired around them, always second-guessing your joy, that's your intuition waving a red flag. You're not crazy. Trust the vibe. Your nervous system remembers what your brain tries to ignore. Sign number 5, they gossip about everyone, including you. They always have the tea, but when you're not around, your name's probably steeping in it. I used to love how real Jenna seemed. Always had the inside scoop. Told it like it is. Until I heard her telling someone my secrets. The ones I never told anyone but her. She said it like it was a joke. But betrayal wrapped in sarcasm still cuts the same. I realized that anyone who feeds on gossip eventually starves loyalty. If their loyalty is selective, so is their honesty. And if you have to wonder what they say when you're not there, you're already hearing the truth. If they talk trash with you, they'll talk trash about you. Silence is respect. Keep yours safe. Sign number 6, they compete with you, not celebrate you. You're not in a friendship. You're in a secret competition, and you didn't even sign up. Every time I did something good, Alex had to one-up it. I got promoted, he bought a car, I started dating someone, he made it weird. I shared a goal, he shared a bigger one. At some point, I stopped celebrating because I felt like I had to prove myself in a game I never wanted to play. Friends don't compete, they collaborate. And if someone makes your wins feel like threats, they're not rooting for you, they're racing you. Competition kills connection. You don't need to win, you need to be seen. Sign number 7, you don't feel like yourself around them. You laugh, you nod, you agree, but inside you feel like a ghost of who you used to be. The scariest part about bad friends is how much they make you forget who you are. You change your language, your opinions, even your boundaries, just to keep the peace. I used to love writing, but around my old circle it felt like a joke, so I stopped. Until one day I sat alone and asked, when did I stop being me? And I realized losing yourself is too high a price to pay for someone else's approval. If you can't be your full, raw, real self around someone, that's not your tribe. That's your cage. Bonus sign Dart 8. You feel relieved when they cancel plans. They flake, and instead of disappointment, you breathe. There was this guy, Tyler, always loud, always the center of attention. I used to think hanging out with him meant I mattered. But the truth? I was exhausted. Every plan felt like a performance. I'd spend hours rehearsing jokes, predicting moods, preparing for jabs masked as humor. And when he canceled last minute, I smiled. Because deep down, I needed the rest more than the connection. Relief shouldn't be your dominant emotion in a friendship. If their absence feels better than their presence, that says everything. Peace is a signal. If you feel more like yourself when they're not around, set yourself free. It took me years of questioning, gaslighting myself, thinking maybe I was the problem, that I was too needy, too dramatic, too much. But I wasn't too much. I was just around people who were too little for what I was becoming. When I finally started cutting people off, it felt like dying. But then I realized it was rebirth. I wrote letters I never sent, grieved friendships that never really existed, walked away from tables I once begged to be seated at, and in the silence that followed, I heard my voice again. That's when the real healing started. And guess what? The right people found me. People who didn't need me to shrink, edit, or apologize. They loved me in my full volume, my loud truth, my quiet dreams, and I promise you, those people exist. But you'll never meet them if your life is full of placeholders. Here's the truth. You don't lose friends when you set boundaries. You lose parasites. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone is meant to go where you're going. Cutting ties isn't cruel, it's self-respect. And when you finally start surrounding yourself with people who light you up instead of drain you, life changes. Fast. You begin to heal. You begin to rise. You begin to remember who you were before the world made you forget. So let me ask you, who are you becoming? And who's still standing in the way? If this episode hit home, don't forget to subscribe. Share this with someone who might need it. And remember, you're not alone, you're just waking up. Each story is a piece. Like and subscribe so you don't miss the sequel to this journey.